DoxTalks. This time about soccer in the United States. I'm your host, Jack Doxy, and this time we'll be delving into the Major League Soccer, or the MLS, the top-flight professional soccer league in the United States, specifically how it can grow. And right now, it's going to be competing on two fronts. The first of which is going to be with other, top-tier soccer leagues. So, yes, the MLS has been experiencing, somewhat of a blooming in terms of, big names coming to the league to compete. And this cannot be overlooked. You have David Villa from Spain, Andrea Pirlo from Italy. You have Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard from England. Who have, all terrific players who have, come over to the United States. There is one catch, however. They are not in their prime. They have exhausted, their abilities, at the top level in Europe, and so they're, fine with taking a bit of a salary cut and residing in, one of the major metropolitan centers in the United States. So that's one area in which it must improve. And then you have the inter-United States battle, which is something that I chronicled in the last episode, how there is a quest for glory among the sports in this country, where, between basketball, baseball, and that heinous thing, the American football. The MLS currently commands the third largest per game attendance in terms of American sporting leagues. It exceeds both the NBA and the NHL. A good example, a candid example of this would be the San Jose Earthquakes. Now, if you're not familiar with the San Francisco Bay Area, San Jose is actually larger than San Francisco. It's roughly, without traffic, roughly an hour's drive south. And they have recently constructed a nice new stadium that they claim has drawn capacity crowds for nearly all of the matches that have occurred there. However, the Earthquakes don't seem to have attracted many fans from the greater Bay Area, outside of the immediate San Jose vicinity. So that is a fairly small portion of the greater Bay Area, which includes locations such as Marin County, where I reside, and the East Bay and San Francisco. One of the questions that was, that we asked was, how can it expand its outreach to, equal the reach of, say, the San Francisco Giants or the Golden State Warriors, almost universally loved in this little region of California. Say the Quakes are playing a vital late season game in which they have a real opportunity. It's a real make and break to determine whether they will head to the playoffs or not. They win 1-0, right? The San Francisco Chronicle, the major newspaper around here, seems more inclined often to air details about, say, a minor transaction involving the Golden State Warriors than it is to publicize the details about this major Earthquakes victory. So this shows that soccer is yet to gain traction among a large swath of the population. And again, not hard to fault them for this. If you don't know whether or not the Earthquakes are winning or losing, what would incentivize you to go down to a game, drive an hour and a half, and have a hassle to park and have to pay some fee to go to a game if you don't even know about the fortunes of the club, if you don't have any vested interest in it at all? As we documented in the previous segment, Major League Soccer, commenced operations in 1996. This was a requisite part of the United States hosting the 1994 World Cup, which again instigated lots of love or lots of passion for the game in the country, along with the women's team prevailing in the 1991 Women's World Cup. I don't know, that may have had a negligible effect. I'm not sure. The MLS was rather a fledgling league in its first few years. There was as always, there was some initial enthusiasm in '96, maybe carrying over to '97, but subsequent to that, there was a period of several years where it was languishing and not really gaining much traction in the American sporting universe at all. But that changed significantly in 2007 when the MLS brought over the fabled English superstar David Beckham from England. And almost immediately, his team, the Los Angeles Galaxy in Major League Soccer, had a footprint in the United States sporting scene. This began the process which resulted in, more soccer-specific stadiums being built, more prominent players coming over to the United States, increased revenues in the MLS, more television deals. There is one thing that I think continues to hold the MLS back in this respect. Unlike the majority of soccer leagues, premier soccer leagues in the soccer universe, the MLS possesses a salary cap, which again is unique to the sport, and I understand why this is in place. The MLS wants to preserve parity among its teams. It's odd. It's almost unique in being an institution in the United States that desires that outcome. I think that serves as somewhat of a deterrent for top-level players coming to the United States in the prime of their careers. As you see, you have guys like Andrea Pirlo and David Villa coming over, and Frank Lampard coming over to the MLS currently, but they are in the twilight of their careers. I can almost see a loop occurring in which, MLS, and this will have ramifications not only for the MLS, but also for the U.S. men's national team. Okay, salary cap is alleviated somewhat, right? Okay, therefore more big players come to MLS, right? Well, I think more would be attracted, all right? Now we have, more people coming to games, right? Coming to matches, they're attracted by, say, a Cristiano Ronaldo in his prime playing, in the MLS. Okay, they get interested in soccer, right? Say they're an elite athlete. Enough of these elite athletes get interested in soccer and want to be the next Cristiano Ronaldo, right? Well, then they perhaps begin to play professional soccer for the U.S. men's national team. In turn, they began to inspire a new generation of Americans wanting to play soccer and really making it a desirable thing for the elite athletes in the United States. So I think it would be very wise of the MLS to do so. Well, of course I have opinions, but I at the same time, I like to get those of others as well. So first I'm going to go to Matt McPhee. We did introduce him in the last segment, but if you forgot who he is, he's a realtor with Decker Bullock Sotheby's in Marin, and he's been playing and watching soccer for quite a while. Here's what he had to say. Right now, the San Jose Earthquakes, they have a beautiful new stadium, 18,000 seats. They claim to sell out every game, but yet, I'm wondering how they could increase their popularity among people living in some of the outer reaches of the Bay Area. Because right now, it seems like their support is pretty localized in that in the greater San Jose region. So, do you have any thoughts on that?
I think that one of the things that's happened is the increase in TV coverage of European leagues, in particularly the FA, because it's very easy to get games during the week even now. They have replays and things like that. Right. So what I consider to be the best league in the world is on TV, and I still believe that the MLS, as much as they've tried to build it up, isn't quite the quality of the FA. And for me, particularly in Marin County, it is a little bit of a haul to get down with traffic and things like that to Avaya Stadium. Now, from what I understand, I've not been there yet, it's an incredibly beautiful stadium. However, having the capacity to watch more games on TV has kind of deterred my interest level in potentially going to watch it live.
Okay. All right, so again, Matt seems to concur with me here. Bringing more top stars into the MLS is imperative for the continued growth of the league, and to accomplish that, yes, the salary cap will have to be augmented. So now we're going to go back to Matt with another take of his. Then we're going to speak with Jason Ewing, who again we introduced in the last segment. He's a youth soccer supporter in the East Bay, and he competes with the Africari Lions in the East Bay Senior Soccer League, whilst Roger has founded that club, the Africari Lions, and indeed remains their coach. So here's what that trio had to say. Do you think increasing the amount that the MLS sides could spend would be beneficial?
The MLS will continually to be handicapped for as long as that disparity exists. The top players are going to go where the money is. Right now, that money is in England. Apparently they, and I'm not exactly sure the details, but they signed some ridiculous billions and billions of euros and dollars and whatever contract for TV, for TV rights and things like that. So that just means that the clubs are going to get that much more money, and that means they can offer that much more money to players around the world. If you look now, the South American players are coming to Europe. They're playing in Spain. They're playing in England in particular. I mean, they're not in particular, but they're going. That's where all the money is, and it's like any other sport. If you look at American baseball, if you look at American football, the best players are signing the biggest contracts, and that's just inevitable. Where they're going to end up is with the best teams and in the best leagues.
Do you think that players that are in their prime would come over if they were making more money?
Money talks, right? So that's the thing. Got to increase the attendance, get more people to come out, bigger stadiums, more merchandise, paraphernalia, whatever it takes to get the money to be able to pay those players, because they're getting paid top notch, as you know, across the sea.
Okay. So what do you think the MLS needs to do to attract some of these top European or South American players who are in their prime of their careers? Is there going to need to be, an increased salary cap, for instance, to compete with those in Europe?
Well, there again, right? We spoke of low income, but really it's the money that drives it all. So MLS is averaging measly money compared to Europe and so on. And look, it's happening. These things don't change overnight. And with the senior players from Europe coming, those guys are not far off from their youth. So the flavor of the international player is coming to the US. It's here. New stadiums are being built. The San Jose Earthquakes up in Santa Clara, brand new stadium. So it's that direction the US soccer is heading, and the grassroots, low income would complement that eventually as more and more money is spent in the community.
I also spoke with Jed Meddy. He's the Vice President of Marketing and Communications with the San Jose Earthquakes, and here was his take. It seems like the Quakes don't quite have the same level of attention that, the 49ers or the Giants or the Warriors do. And so I'm wondering, how are you guys attempting to address that? And do you see that same thing? Or?
Yeah, I think we look across the whole Bay Area. There's 7 professional sports teams, so it's one of the sort of most competitive markets in terms of getting attention for each different team. And we're in the South Bay versus San Francisco, being up the peninsula and the northern part of the Bay, I guess. We get more attention in the San Jose market, San Jose Mercury News.
Right.
NBC is located down here. We get more attention there. But again, the 49ers are still, and the Giants are the bigger names right now and getting more of the media attention. I think what we've done is we've tried to do an outreach on every level. We've invited producers, sports writers, sports editors, general news people to games, to the new stadium to see what it's like. They don't even realize that we're selling out every single game at the stadium. There's 18,000 fans coming every game. We have 13,000 season ticket holders. Those numbers are right in line with the Sharks. So we're trying to show them we should get in equal coverage with the Sharks, with other pro sports teams. So I think it's something that takes time. And a lot of the people that work in the industry have been there a long time, and they're used to the traditional four sports.
Right.
And we're nudging our way into that. I think we've made huge progress. The coverage we got for the opening of this stadium was the biggest coverage we've ever had. We had press conferences with 40, 50 media members at each game. We had an opening day with all the major outlets here, all the major writers here, enjoying the stadium and enjoying the product that we're putting on the field. So I think every year it's growing. I started in 2001 with the earthquakes, and the difference between then and now is incredible, the amount of coverage we get.
All right. So again, this is a sentiment that I totally concur with. That a stronger MLS will benefit the U.S. men's national team because it will attract some of the top athletes to the sport. They will again want to emulate, someone like a Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm just using him as an example, or Lionel Messi playing in the United States in their prime. One single figure or a multitude of them can have an enormous impact on American soccer, and what that will require is an increase of the salary cap. Again, so we'll speak. We also spoke with Michele Martinisi, who is the professor of Italian and Spanish, native-born Italian at the College of Marin, and he's of course been watching soccer for quite a while. And Rovell Steve Sparks. Steve, he is president and founder of My Youth Soccer, the summer camp in the East Bay that pertains to soccer and provides a great release for so many otherwise fairly bored kids. Chance to get their energy out. Anyway, so here's what they had to say. What do you think it'll take for the MLS to really grow and become a top professional league up there with the Bundesliga and the Premier League and La Liga?
It's gonna take money because the more investment you do into the game, into the sport, you can attract more people and players that are right now, like you mentioned, playing in the Bundesliga, in the English Premier League, in the Italian League, and in the Spanish League, which are the fourth main leagues around these days. So in order to attract younger player, you would need to invest more money, just like it's been happening there.
First of all, do you follow the San Jose Earthquakes, the soccer team, local soccer team?
I think San Jose Earthquakes, I think it's a great start, and I think they have a great program going.
Yeah.
But I really feel like a place like Oakland, it would be great to have a lower level team here, like Orlando have, or the team up in Sacramento, which is amazing. Right. And if we have a club team, because I think a lot of local here in Oakland would definitely get behind it. Like I went to a game in Sacramento, and it's amazing how the community have gotten behind, the club in Sacramento, and they're not in the MLS. They're the lower division. And so I think that would really, if the Earthquakes help develop something more, in the Oakland area, I think that really would help a lot in regard to growing soccer, because kids also would have something other to look forward to, another out.
The barometer that we've been using is men's professional soccer, as contrasted with both other American sports and other soccer leagues throughout the world. We see some real positive developments. Attendance has increased by quite a bit. Due to the influx of even aging European professional stars, attendance is been augmented, or viewership, pardon me, has been augmented significantly. The MLS will continue to grow, but that can be, the rapidity can be increased, in which it will do so can be increased significantly, and its potential exponentially, expanded. If the salary cap first is lifted, then you will see a greater number of top world stars flocking to the United States. In turn, more players will want to emulate these top world stars. Both the MLS and the U.S. men's national team will continue to get stronger. It is a totally sustainable solution, I believe. The MLS is now, adapted its rules to conform with more of those that you find around the world. Again, I think this is about, reflects the globalization not just of soccer in this country, but of the nation here. And I know that some may be so upset about that, but you know, you can never halt progress that is inevitable, and I am quite glad that it has occurred. So. Will the MLS break into the top few sports? Yes, I think conditions are poised for that to occur. I think there is going to be a steady migration of players to the United States to play soccer. With scandals rocking other sports, such as the concussions in football, more people will be drawn away from those towards a sport deemed safer, like soccer. And as the United States continues to globalize, I think that it'll be a very tangible way to measure, that will be in the form of how many are, participating in soccer and enjoying the sport in much the way that their comrades around the world do so. This is Jack Doxey signing off. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode of the DoxTalks.